Alright, what's up? So, somebody commented or messaged me some months ago, maybe even a year ago, because I save all of this stuff in a notepad. He or she said, you should do one on body size, height, because people were smaller and shorter than today. What is natural? The size then or now? Does a change in food correlate to the human height today? Good question, because I wanted to make a video about this topic anyway, so this is great. About longevity and getting as old as possible, and who knows what's possible. The oldest woman living today, right now, is 116, and she's from Italy, and she's been eating raw meat and raw eggs for 90 years now, among other things. So that's something to think about, I would say so. And about groups of people also. Many people like to talk about the people in Okinawa in Japan, and they eat quite differently than other people in Japan, and they live a lot longer than a lot of people in this world. And traditionally they have tons of dishes with pork. Basically they cook everything in pork fat, aka lard, and also vegetables, and they eat the animal from the toes to the head, just everything. And just like many people around the world used to do before medicine ruined us, when they had a problem with an organ, they ate the organ of the animal and healed it that way. So if they had a problem with the kidney, they ate the kidneys of the pig or some other animal, because they also ate raw goat meat. They cooked and ate raw meat, and this is just a thing that most people did and still do around the world. Now, of course, less raw. And also another thing, there's a misconception that they ate quite a few sweet potatoes, even though people who actually lived there report that they had never heard of a sweet potato. So it wasn't some parts, but definitely not everywhere widespread, not at all. And those were also cooked in pork lard, pork fat. So also something to think about. Just like Weston Price, who traveled around the world for 10 years, found that what most people craved, obviously, was animal fat, and that was what made them live so long. That's the secret of longevity, because fat, out of all the macronutrients, is the most filling anyway, obviously, but it does the least damage, so to speak. And I'll talk about this in a second, and I'll link you also a lot of articles so you can read about yourself, because that's a lot to talk about. And he also found that people who ate less meat were always less healthy, and they had a lot of degenerative problems and problems with their teeth and bones and such. And that's why also a lot of kids nowadays get crooked teeth and such, because of their malnourishment. So another group of people I want to talk about are the Northern Lapps in Scandinavia, especially in this case about the Swedish ones. They ate, and this was reported over 200 years ago, only ate meat, fish and poultry. Meat, basically. There's no reason to categorize it like that, but people like to do that. And they were smaller and lighter and more nimble than the people who lived in the south. And it was observed even back then that the people there who ate a lot of grains, they were taller, well built, stiff, stronger, and later in life heavy, meaning overweight. So even back then, when insulin and such growth hormones were not really understood, people could see the difference, because in 1671 it was also reported that they lived from 80 to 100 and even over 100 years old, and they were running through the woods, they were agile, and there was almost no gray hair, and people in the south were much more sick and dying quicker. And you would think that being taller and such would be a benefit, but I'll talk about this in a second, but it may not be so, and actually it's very likely not so, because it's actually not natural. To answer the question of whoever commented that, if you're still watching my videos. So also just another thing, there was a skeleton of a Sami woman, that's what they were called, living in Lapland, discovered, and she was studied, and they came to the conclusion that she ate meat and seafood, and the older she got, the more meat they ate. And obviously there's also such things as cloudberries and other berries growing in summer in Lapland, and that's of course also something that people always ate. It's natural, but mostly that's what she ate. And she showed no caries, no teeth problems, basically no iron deficiency, nothing, obviously. So the thing about this is, and I'll link you to some really very informative articles with studies backing it up, if you're interested in that, even though I believe that it's more important to read people's stories about nutrition rather than studies, especially nowadays, because they're so corrupt. But as you wish, whatever you're into. Basically, it will talk a lot about carbohydrates and insulin, because as I said about fat raises pretty much no insulin at all. Protein a bit more, and if you eat only protein, there's such thing called as rabbit starvation. When you eat only protein, you can actually die from it. So fat should always be eaten, whereas carbohydrates are not necessary for anything. Generally, anybody can live on 0 carbohydrates. So the thing about carbohydrates is that they will raise always a lot of insulin, which is a growth hormone in the first place, and there's a lot of problems with it. But one thing that you should learn about is glycation and AGEs, as in age. And these things, they will make you age a lot, and insulin plays a big role in this. And thinking that there's a growth hormone and you're only going to get muscular or taller with it is quite naive, because bodybuilders inject insulin just like that. Also, another thing, if you eat or drink things that don't have sugar but have these artificial sweeteners, they actually raise insulin because your body is confused, and this is very dangerous. And it's also going to make you older. So do not drink Diet Coke. Do not drink Coke in general, but you get what I'm saying. Also, in baby cow milk, and any milk that is made for other animals, not for us, there's growth hormones, especially for them, and these also have a very similar effect on the body. And this you can all read about much deeper, more in depth. I'll link you to that, as I said. So growth hormones are nothing to play with, and this is why it's also observed that people who drink milk, as a kid they are taller later, but this being taller simply means that you're going to die much quicker. That's how it is. I'll continue. Alright, so I've already talked about bodybuilding once, so I'm not going to get into the same old thing. And if you want your life to be full of growth hormones and such, and some of course go even further, and want to be muscular and stuff and die young, whatever, I'm the last one who would judge you, so don't misunderstand this. What I want to talk about, however, I saw this video maybe a year ago, and it made me really think. There was this vegan couple. They make these fruitarian videos, I believe, and they were standing and talking about their health, looking really almost sick. No joke, no offense, that's just how they look like. And the guy then flexed his arms, and he looked completely malnourished, like he was in the Nazi camp or something, for real. So I was thinking, are these people delusional? Simply that they believe in this religion of veganism so much that they just don't get it? Because I've read many stories like this where people get sick, but they don't see it somehow because of their strong belief. Or is it something else? Because what is it? I'm guessing it's that, but it was pretty sad, really. So the thing about what a lot of people talk about when starting to eat vegan is that they feel that they have so much energy and such, and this is pretty ironic, really, because when you start it, you're obviously very malnourished because your body is missing all of these things. I mean, there's so many I could name, and your body starts eating up its own fat and protein from the muscles, because we do not store protein. It's simply, yes, it's in our muscles. We can, if we work out and such, but most people don't. So you would have to eat protein every day. That's just how nature is. So this, of course, creates a lot of ketones and such, and this is what makes them feel so great. So it's really funny. I think it is. And of course, when the fat and such is gone, and when you're underweight, and I haven't met many vegans who aren't underweight or anemic, as in pale and just no energy and sleeping a lot and such because of malnourishment. That's when fun is over, and that can take months or years, because our bodies still, of course, are very able and capable of surviving whatever the case is, wherever we are and whatever we've got to eat. But at some point there's just no way around it, and there's so much to talk about when it comes to this, but it's not the point right now. And also a thing about women wanting to be so thin and such and going on any kind of diet. Women have never been seen as attractive in history when they were skinny, because for one thing they couldn't survive then, and they couldn't survive pregnancy, and they couldn't nourish their children as they're supposed to. So yes, of course, you can get some superficial jerk to be together with German accent, and sure, it's all doable, but is it really what you want? Again, as it is, well, I guess you can find a bodybuilder or something. And also a thing about this eating yourself, this is essentially cannibalism, and I'll talk a bit more about this in another video, but this is why a lot of people who are also on other diets, which are malnourishment, they sort of feel some kind of high because they're eating up themselves. That's how the body works. So nobody in history has ever been eating like this, because it's firstly a new trend, and many people have tried. I'm not saying that, but not this kind of mass that we've got now. And of course many people don't last anyway. And the only way to build muscle on a vegan diet is to overeat on carbohydrates, which will cause a lot of insulin, make you age very quickly, and to convert that into fat. And it's a very unnatural process to eat this way, very big time, and to take supplements. And generally, even if it's not about bodybuilding and whatever, and working out or doing kind of sports, generally a vegan diet is not possible. That's why I said nobody has ever done it for a long time, because you would always have to take medicine, as in supplements, but it's the same thing. It's just another word for it. And what kind of people in our modern age take medicine? I think it's sick people. Yeah, genius once again. Thanks guys for watching.